Hello there, and welcome to the Varykino YouTube channel. I'm Christy.
And I am Matt.
We're long-standing Star Wars fans who live and breathe Star Wars every day.
We've run Star Wars websites and fan communities for more than 2 decades, and together we love talking about Star Wars with other Star Wars fans.
This video is the first in a series recapping the Star Wars fun we've had during the past week.
Pretty significant on the calendar was the fact that last week involved Carrie Fisher's birthday, the 21st of October. She's sadly missed. We've had the pleasure of actually meeting her a number of times in the past, so she's a very favourite character and actress for both of us for a number of different reasons. We've had the pleasure of meeting her at Celebration 4 in 2007, Dragon Con in 2011, and Celebration Anaheim in 2015.
We're so very lucky to have been able to meet her several times. With the fact that we live in New Zealand, I am always grateful for every opportunity to meet a Star Wars actor. They don't come to our country very often for conventions, so we've been very fortunate being able to travel to the US and other conventions to meet Star Wars actors. And you never know when they're going to leave us. So I was so grateful to be able to meet her a number of times, including once in costume. She stopped and talked to me about my Princess Leia costume, so that was a really special moment that I will treasure always. And then, of course, as a very special sort of surprise this week, my parents gifted me with a bit of an early gift was the Hasbro Black Series Princess Leia lightsaber. Now, this thing is beautiful. That was one of my really favorite parts.
This is as seen in The Rise of Skywalker, of course.
Yes, yeah. From the movie, was finally seeing Leia wield her Jedi lightsaber. That was really exciting. And not only is it Leia's lightsaber, but it's honestly one of my favorite lightsaber designs. It's beautiful.
The modern Black Series from Hasbro lightsabers are fantastic. I mean, it's pretty solid metal, this one. Yeah. So it's a really nice piece, a really nice collectible.
But just the Leia lightsaber in general is just beautiful with the sort of rose gold and silver and the mother of pearl details. I think the Hasbro version has done a really good way of translating that into a sort of a toy, a collectible that you can hold. And it's one of the first ones in the Hasbro line that has these sort of removable emitters. So you can have the accurate narrow neck if you like to display your hilt on its included stand, or the wider one, which will accommodate the fantastic light-up blade, which has all the sort of sounds and special effects and things like that. It is a really special gift. I have to admit, I kind of cried holding this for the first time. It felt really special.
It was given to you on Carrie's birthday, technically. So
yeah, it was one of those sort of it was such a special gift. I wasn't sure I'd ever be able to get to own this lightsaber, and then being able to actually get it and hold it as a surprise gift on her birthday was absolutely really special.
All right, something else that's distinctly related to Carrie Fisher, of course, is the Glitter for Carrie concept. You've talked about this in the past week on your Kessel Runway website. Tell us about that.
Yeah, well, Carrie liked to sprinkle fans with glitter when she met them at conventions. And interestingly enough, Billie Lourd has actually sort of continued this tradition. She gave fans little packets of glitter during her sort of fan meets at a recent...
on her mother's tradition.
Yeah, because she knew about that sort of tradition. But after Carrie passed away, fans decided to sort of carry this on their own as well. And so there was a sort of a Glitter for Carrie sort of movement the first year after she passed away on her birthday in 2017. And so my daughter and I have sort of taken that concept, and each year we like to sort of recreate a Princess Leia hairstyle or makeup look involving glitter and the rebel symbol. So it's just a sort of a fun mother-daughter activity to really celebrate Leia, because as mother and daughter, we also got to meet Carrie together on a number of those occasions. We were fortunate enough to being able to bring our daughter with us on those international trips. So we really had fun sort of doing this each year on her birthday as a way of just kind of remembering and celebrating her legacy. So this year we recreated her sort of rebel leader hairstyle that we see her wear on Andor in Return of the Jedi, and we accented that with green glitter. It was really fun. We always end up with glitter sprinkled around the house for a few weeks afterwards, but it really does feel like Carrie just kind of sprinkled into our lives a little bit, and it was a really special sort of activity for that day.
So there's some more photos and details about that over on Christie's website on thekesselrunway.com. I'll put links down below. Now, one of the Star Wars video games we play on a very regular basis is Star Wars The Old Republic, SWTOR, and we've actually got some gameplay videos from that game up on this YouTube channel. You may have seen them in the past. In the past week, Galactic Seasons 3 kicked off. This was part of the 7.1.1 update. That involved us getting new companions on a couple of our characters. We both got that companion unlocked. It's very fun getting things like that effectively free within game. You just achieve them by doing a little bit of work rather than having to pay outright. We love getting that sort of thing in the game. But we also, for some reason or the other, were sort of spurred on to do a little bit of character creation and costume creation in the game with some new characters and new costumes. And part of the reason for that was because this most recent update involves some changes to the outfitter in the game that lets you name and favorite the outfits that you apply to your characters in this role-playing game.
Yeah, I really do appreciate when I see characters running around in game that have like a really well put together sort of outfit that's really themed. You can see what sort of vibe they're going for, or recreating characters that the gear isn't necessarily just a straight outright. There are some fabulous outfits within Star Wars Old Republic. You can get like Revan. There's the Cara Dune gear.
Yeah, they base stuff off modern content.
Yeah.
Even though this game is set thousands of years ago, they do bring in stuff that's inspired by modern content, and that lets you role-play characters that we're more familiar with.
Yeah.
But talk about your most recent character creation.
So I've always had the idea of doing an Amidala sort of inspired character. Obviously, I love her outfits in the prequels, but it's really hard to kind of really sort of create in game. You've really got to sit there and use individual pieces from all different sets to kind of assemble them into something that sort of resembles what you're going for. And it was one of those things that I always really wanted to do, but hadn't quite found the right fit for it. So I was like, okay, I'm going to sit down and do this. So I came up with a new character, and like you said, with the new sort of being able to stamp different outfits has really opened up the possibilities. So I figured out, so my new character is Varykino, obviously named after our sort of blog and YouTube channel. And
it's a name that applies very directly and strongly to Queen Amidala, of course.
It's the name of Padme's lake retreat. Varykino was established in a lot of the sort of the information books. So it stands for the sort of the Naboo lake retreat. So of course, I really wanted to recreate Padme's lake dress in game, and I actually came across two different options. So I was like, what the hey, I'll just make both. And then of course, because it's Padme, I also created a couple of my other favorite outfits. I have her sort of snow outfit from Ilum from the Micro series animated series. I have her classic red throne room gown from the Phantom Menace, and the last one that I managed to put together is her white outfit from episode 2 that she wears in the Geonosian arena, and I even gave her the Nexu companion, so it really sort of completes the look. So I'm super stoked. Not that I need more characters in this game. I think this one makes 42, I think now. But I really do take a lot of pride in coming up with really cool character designs with really fun outfits. And of course, now I've got the bug. I'm probably going to run around and create a few more outfits for some of my other characters that only have one or two, because there's a ton of slots there and there's so much neat gear in the game. I really do need to sort of start giving it out to people that only have one or two outfits.
Now, we had a good week in terms of collectibles, I would say. We had some nice new additions over the past week. Christy's parents helped us track down a range from the new wave of Black Series figures. We got Obi-Wan Kenobi from the Obi-Wan Kenobi series, a New Republic security droid from The Mandalorian, a Princess Leia in her Ewok gown from Return of the Jedi, of course, and Reva the Third Sister from Obi-Wan Kenobi, of course.
Yeah, we weren't really going to get into the Black Series line a few years ago, but it's such a strong line by now. It was never really sure if it was going to be a short stint but it's really proven its point, and there are such fantastic figures. So we're diving in pretty seriously these days. Still haven't sort of figured out the best way to display them. A lot of our Black Series are still in their boxes. We're going to have to look at our shelves and perhaps rearrange some things, but really do enjoy these figures. They've been a little bit harder to find on sort of our stores locally, so I was really grateful for my parents to be able to sort of help find those at stores near where they live.
Some really key characters in there that were really stoked to have. I mean, Obi-Wan Kenobi, of course, he's a must-have. The New Republic security droid, a little bit more of a secondary background character, but I very much love droids and aliens from the Star Wars galaxy, so he's one of my favorites to add in there.
And of course, Andor Leia. I have to have every Leia figure I can get my hands on. So very glad to add her to my Leia collection.
Yeah, so we've become quite addicted to Black Series action figures, but the other line that's really caught our attention recently is the Micro Galaxy Squadron from Jazzwares. So this is the line of spaceships that are all in approximate scale to each other. Most of these were available in New Zealand, but one exception to that statement was the Razor Crest, which oddly was not carried by any of the local retailers. It was a retailer exclusive in the US, and that might explain why no one picked it up to sell locally, but we managed to get our hands on one via Amazon in Australia. That arrived to us in the week, and we'll be doing a full review of that on this YouTube channel very shortly. We were a little bit worried when it first arrived because the box was somewhat smooshed, but the vehicle itself is intact, and it's a very, very nice addition to that line.
Yeah, really glad to have that for our collection. It would feel sort of missing. It's a really new sort of design for Star Wars ships, but it was one of those things that just sort of immediately felt iconic. And I think it's a crucial part, especially if you're sort of going for a bit more of a completist attitude towards collecting these Jazzwares vehicles. It's very cool in person.
Now we're going to talk a lot more about our Funko Pop collection and how that's come to be in upcoming podcasts, our week of Star Wars installments. But in the past week, we did get a couple of new Funko Pop vinyl figures. Princess Leia, the A New Hope version from the Power of the Galaxy line, which celebrates the women of Star Wars. And we also got a Christmas holiday themed one of 5, the snowman version of Boba Fett, which is actually much nicer in hand than you see in the promo images. So that's quite a cool one that we're happy to have.
Yeah, the snowman one has kind of like a little sort of a glittery sparkle to it, like the way that snow glistens. I think it's really quite fun. Don't usually sort of buy in too much into these sort of mashup ones, but this year I did end up picking up a few of the sort of Valentine's Day ones, and I really did like these Christmas ones. I think that they work so much better in the Funko design than the Hasbro Christmas version of action figures. And of course, I am trying to keep up with all of the female Star Wars character Power of the Galaxy Pops. They come in these sort of beautiful pink-purple boxes. And of course, Princess Leia. This one is a slightly different sculpt to the standard one. The way that she's sort of standing holding her blaster. It almost looks like they have tried to sort of do the post-trash compactor sort of scene, because her dress is just like, it's got like a subtle wash over it, so it's not like a stark white. It's kind of fun. You know, she's sort of firing her blaster. It's definitely a very cool addition to my Leia collection. I've got a couple of Leia things this week. I got a Black Series, a Funko, and a lightsaber. So it was a great week for my Leia collection.
In terms of content creation, we've been pretty busy recording videos and publishing on this YouTube channel reviews of some of our recent collectibles. So if you take a look back at other videos on this channel, you'll see that we took a look at the droid factory set that we got via shopdisney.co.nz, featuring 4 droids from the Obi-Wan Kenobi series. We had a look at Kmart Star Wars mugs from Kmart that have recently showed up in New Zealand in time for Christmas. And we opened some Micro Galaxy Squadron blind boxes containing Scout class vehicles.
I know droids are often a focus for you, but I was really impressed with that Shop Disney set. I'm hoping that Hasbro makes these figures in their standard line, but for now, the Shop Disney set is awesome. I love the detail and articulation on those. Yeah,
so subscribe to our YouTube channel if you're interested in more of those sorts of reviews and unboxings of content that's available locally and internationally. And finally, I think we have to talk about the fact that we've been thoroughly enjoying Andor on a week-to-week basis. How good is that show?
Oh, it's just, it's one of those ones where I don't really know what to expect each week, and it keeps sort of taking interesting turns and interesting sort of details.
I'm loving a lot of the characters.
The detail, the characters, the costumes, the location, and of course the storyline. I'm just totally enthralled. I'm really, really enjoying this one. And I'm so glad that we know that there's at least the season 2 to look forward to after this.
I believe production's starting imminently. Now, we're not going to talk about spoilers from Andor or other Disney Plus content in these podcasts, but each week we do talk about the episode that is just screened just after it has finished screening. We talk about that on our Twitch channel live. That's search for Varykino on Twitch, and we publish archives of those recordings on this YouTube channel. So if you want to dive in and hear us talking about the most recent episodes of Andor, you can do that on either our Twitch channel or our YouTube channel.
Yeah, we find it a really great way to kind of like digest the episode and just kind of get all that excitement out, because we're appreciative that not everyone can watch these. It comes out at a sort of a funny time zone for a lot of fans around the world. For us here in New Zealand, it's about 8 o'clock in the evening, so that's a pretty good time for us to be sitting down and watching Star Wars. And then immediately after it's finished screening, after sort of 5 minutes to boot up Twitch and a Star Wars video game, we jump in and start playing SWTOR while we can sort of chat about the episode that we've just watched while it's fresh in our mind, and just sort of get all that excitement out and start sort of pondering about, where's this going to go? I really enjoyed this. That was really interesting. So if you're the sort of person that likes to dive in straight away, you can catch us on Twitch with those live streams, or else we put them on here on YouTube so we can sort of archive our thoughts, because it's kind of interesting looking back sometimes and seeing what you thought about a show as it was progressing, because you don't know how the whole thing's going to end. It's kind of fun to have that all archived for posterity. Speaking of other channels, if you really enjoy sort of hanging out with Star Wars fans and finding sort of other Star Wars fun content, you can find us on the usual places like Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. So you can check us sort of sharing some of our Star Wars fun on TikTok. Still a little bit new to the platform, but really enjoying it. So you can come follow us there, and of course on our website as well.
So thanks for listening to our inaugural episode of our Week in Star Wars. We appreciate you taking your time to listen to us.
Yep, and stay tuned for another episode next week. So we know that there's going to be a new episode of Andor. We already know we've got some fun arrivals going to be coming in the mail. So stay tuned for more Star Wars fun next week. And as always, may the Force be with you. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and give it a like, check out our other videos, and subscribe for alerts about new uploads. Thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you.